Ladies and gentlemen, who formed Linda Mwananchi? And what was the objective of Linda Mwananchi? Before we get to Linda Mwananchi, let us go back a bit. Before Linda Mwananchi, there was a movement called Kenya Moja. Who are the members of Kenya Moja? If you can recall, let me mention for you some members of Kenya Moja.
Mumeniona nikiwa na ushirika na akina Babu Owino, mukaniona na Sifuna, ni kwa sababu tunatafuta umoja wa Kenya na amani ya Kenya. That is why I am moving with these young people from all tribes. Hapa kuna Waluya, hapa kuna Wajaluo, hapa kuna Wakikuyu, hapa kuna Wakisii, hapa kuna Wakamba. Si munipigie makofi sababu mimi ni mama yao. So this is the Kenya we want. The Kenya that is representing all tribes of Kenya. The Kenya that is giving all communities an opportunity to be on the table. Na kwa sababu tumepatia wazee wetu tangu 1963 nafasi ya ku make decisions za siasa. Tumepatia hawa wakongwe wetu nafasi watuongoze. Na ni kama wametupeleka kashimo, tunaona tunaingia. Raundi hii tunasema vijana wachukue nafasi yao.
Because that history is important. There was Caleb Amisi. In fact, the first Kenya Moja rally was held in Saboti. There was Gathoni wa Mushomba. There was Edwin Sifuna. There was Babu Owino. And also there was Anthony Kibagende. This Kenya Moja is what changed to Linda Mwananchi. The question then is, who is calling shots in Linda Mwananchi? And why was Linda Mwananchi formed in the first place? Ladies and gentlemen, your answer is as good as mine. Linda Mwananchi was formed to checkmate ODM party. Particularly when Raila Odinga was alive, Kenya Moja was formed to check on Raila Odinga. Because Raila Odinga was likely to support William Ruto. But former President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was still keen on defeating Ruto, and he was still keen on supporting Raila Odinga. So Kenya Moja at that time was formed for that purpose. So that if Raila were to support Ruto, they were going to get a way of creating a rebellion from within ODM party. When Raila Odinga died, an opportunity presented itself. Oburu Group formed Linda Grounds to try and consolidate their bases when it became obvious that majority of the members were not very happy. Then they formed Linda Mwananchi to counter it. As fate would have it, Linda Mwananchi became big. It became bigger than ODM party. Some of the people calling the shots in Linda Mwananchi were obvious. Some of them were not members of ODM party. But while these things were happening, some of us tried to explain them here, and none of you guys were willing to listen. But there's one thing which I consistently maintained, and I'm going to repeat it again, that there is no way William Samoei Arap Ruto will allow the opposition to unite. Why? Because a united opposition will send William Ruto home very early in the morning. I'm not saying they will not unite, but as long as they can unite, they will send Ruto home. So what will Ruto do? I've explained that in very many videos of this platform. One of the things is infiltration. Why are we seeing fighting in Linda Mwananchi? One of the founding members of Linda Mwananchi, who was also the founder of Kenya Moja, Caleb Amisi, has been talking.
Watu kutana na watu rekebisha. Nimetoa onyo kwamba msipoenda hii barabara nitaanzisha vuguvugu lingine, kwa sababu vuguvugu nobody has monopoly on movements. Movements are driven by people, and the people drive a movement because of a need. Kuna kitu ambayo inawaguza na wanaungana na wanasema tutatue hili, so a movement will come, na hiyo movement will come at the right time, na hiyo ndio itapeleka William Ruto nyumbani.
Caleb Amisi is not a madman. He's a very intelligent young man.
Ile tashwishi niko nao ni kwamba watu wameona nikikuwa mstari ya mbele kusema kwamba Linda Mwananchi imeanza kupotoka, imepotoka kwa ile laini tuliweka. Mimi kama mwanzilishi nimesema haikukua tuanze kusema kwamba tunajiunga na United Opposition. So nikaambia they do not understand the assignment. Assignment ni kwamba tungepeleka vijana na rallies vuguvugu alafu liwe chama. Baadaye sasa muangalie ni nani, kwa sababu mnasema mnaenda kwa United. Who told you? Nataka nilipiti ile statement ya Sifuna. Who told you United Opposition will be united up to the ballot? Who told you? Yeah, usikue tu mtu wa kuangukia vitu. Hii siasa tumeona siasa mingi hii Kenya. Tulikuwa natembea NASA kidogo wengine wakajitoa. Tukatembea kama Azimio, wakina Mzali wakajiunga na Ruto. The last minute wakaita earthquake. Tulikuwa na Kalonzo kidogo wakati wa kutoa Kibaki, Kalonzo ndo huyo akaenda kando. And they are the same players. So I'm telling you, who told you the United Opposition will still be united?
Personally, I don't know what you think about Caleb Amisi. But for me, I have two thoughts about Caleb Amisi, school of thoughts. Number one, either Caleb Amisi is working for William Ruto or NIS without realizing. Because whatever he's doing is serving whose interest? Whatever Caleb Amisi is doing today is serving the interest of President William Ruto. Because Caleb Amisi is even promising that he's going to launch another movement. The other day, he met with Jimmy Wanjigi. Jimmy Wanjigi has made it very clear that there's no way Kalonzo Musyoka, of all the people, can be a president of the Republic of Kenya. Then you'll expect them to meet and agree on a single candidate. But there's also the remote chance that Caleb Amisi is working for Edwin Sifuna. That is actually Edwin Sifuna's mouthpiece. Edwin Sifuna is a student of Raila Odinga. After Raila Odinga's death, it became very clear that whatever Edwin Sifuna was doing, he was doing it with the approval of Raila Odinga. On this platform, I used to tell you that there was no way Edwin Sifuna would do or say whatever he used to say and then still report comfortably at Orange House if Raila Odinga did not up. So probably he is working for Edwin Sifuna because there's also something he has maintained, that Edwin Sifuna must be the presidential candidate. But his latest statement has actually shocked me, and I want to talk about it. Before we do that, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, my take are as follows. Number one, there is a serious fallout in Linda Mwananchi. There is infighting. Ladies and gentlemen, this infighting is over two people, Uhuru Kenyatta and Rigathi Gachagua. And that's why I began my analysis by asking you guys who was behind Kenya Moja. Uhuru Kenyatta was behind Kenya Moja. As a matter of fact, Uhuru Kenyatta is also alleged to be behind Linda Mwananchi through Pauline Njoroge. That's why in every meeting, you see Pauline Njoroge everywhere there. But I want to assume that this infighting is not being engineered by deep state. Because if it's being engineered by the deep state, then I'm sorry for them. But there is clearly infighting. When you hear Caleb Amisi talking like, forming a movement is not a preserve of a few. When you see Orengo, because I was telling you the other day, and people were attacking me, even this Orengo protest was sabotaged. It was sabotaged. That's why Babu was not there. That's why Sifuna was not there. These other guys, they sabotaged it because there is serious infighting. Number two, it can also be attributed to external factors. Where external factors mean, for example, Rigathi Gachagua is currently controlling Mount Kenya. Uhuru Kenyatta is the guy with the money. There is Fred Matiang'i who wants to be a presidential candidate. So these external factors are fighting. And they're fighting within Azimio. Within Linda Mwananchi. Because Sifuna is currently trying to lean towards Rigathi Gachagua, towards Kalonzo Musyoka. Caleb Amisi is telling them, no. Those guys, watu wa KANU, you can't tell Kenyans about change and work with them. And he's telling them that us, we'd agree that we just go to the ground, we talk with people, and then people will produce a presidential candidate. In fact, that would have been the ideal, where Sifuna was going to be a presidential candidate, then they get another running mate from somewhere. But again, if you look at that, that was also going to work in favor of President Ruto. Because as long as we have Kalonzo, we have Sifuna and Ruto on the ballot, because there's no way Kalonzo can bolt out. So those external factors. And importantly, I think there is also the feeling that Linda Mwananchi has been or is being hijacked. That's another reality. Caleb Amisi feels that, I formed this movement. Sifuna feels he's the man of the moment. Orengo on the other side feels that he's the senior most. What about Babu Owino? So there's the feeling that, everybody's trying to hijack that movement. That is the beef. That is the problem. Caleb Amisi, as the founder, would want to call the shots. He can't. Ladies and gentlemen, I also see sabotage and infiltration. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Until next time, Makwiny. By the way, do you think these guys will be able to defeat Ruto? Do you think they'll be able to unite? I don't know. Until next time, Makwiny. Bye-bye.